Welcome to Fuller Expectations, the podcast where we dive into topics like aging with confidence, navigating identity shifts, building new healthy habits, rediscovering purpose, health and wellness routines in midlife, and yes, maybe even money, retirement, relationships, and letting go of things that no longer serve you. I'm your host, Carrie Fuller, and I am so excited that you're here with me today. My hope is that our episodes feel like a blend of personal growth, real conversation, and gentle encouragement. We'll keep things honest, thoughtful, and practical. If you have not already, please hit follow so that our podcast can appear in your podcast library. We drop episodes every week, and we don't want you to miss it. And if you thought of somebody who might benefit by what you've heard today, please share this episode with them. And now let's get into today's episode. Hello, Fuller Expectations podcast family. We have a really awesome episode today that I know everybody listening can relate to this and take something from this and share this episode with someone you know. You probably know multiple people who need to hear this message today. So today we're going to talk about the space between who you are and who you want to be. So it's all about from wishing to becoming, because the fact is so many people are living in between. They're living in between who they are today and who they really want to be. They're living a life that they want change. They want something to be different. And that's across the span of either work, family, where you live, the things you're doing, your health, your weight. There's so many things today that people want to change about their lives. So everybody can relate to this episode today. So really, it's all about, I'm all about, from my prior episodes, about depositing into your wellness bank or different aspects of your life and little steps to becoming the person that you want to be and living the life that you want to live and all of that. So that's where we're going today. So have you ever felt like you're living one life, but you're just imagining another? You go to work, but you dream about something different. Or you stay in a relationship, but you wonder what different or what peace would look like in that regard. You talk about getting healthy, but your habits look the same. Nothing is changing. You're on the hamster wheel. You're just doing everything the way you've always done it. Or you're making small changes, but it's just not working for you. So maybe you're not miserable, but maybe you're not fulfilled either. Or maybe you are miserable, but you don't change anything. You're caught between two lives. And you're not being authentic to who you want to be and what you're capable of being. So today we're going to talk about the in-between season, that uncomfortable space between who you are and who you want to become. Or if you're lucky, who you are becoming, but you just need little steps to keep on going. No matter what aspect of your life makes you feel like this, it could be career, living in the security world, the steady paycheck that you know, the work routine that you know, versus your calling, what you really want to do. It's hard to make that change, right? It could be in your marriage or your relationship with someone else. You're in the comfortable spot, or maybe you're in a spot that's not comfortable, but you don't change it. You don't take the step to grow and to live differently. With regards to health, so many people have those daily habits. They just don't change the habits, or they try to change the habits, but they're doing things that aren't working because they haven't done the research to know what would work for them, or they expect to feel differently overnight. Or like, I'm going to change all of these things, and you do it for a week and things don't change. And you give up because it didn't happen fast enough. Maybe it's with retirement. Maybe you want to retire, but you're not saving for the future that you want. It could be with your identity. It's all about who you've been, the person that you've been, and you've been this way for other people, and you're making everybody else happy, but you're not happy yourself. You're not living who you want to be. You're living the person that you always have been for the benefit of everyone else around you. I know there are so many people that can relate to that. So just like we talked about banking wellness a few episodes ago, you don't wake up strong at the age of 70 if you completely ignored your body when you were 50. The same is true for your dreams. The life you want is not built in one leap. It's built in small daily deposits. I think today, everyone is so used to or wants everything now. There is no patience anymore. We're conditioned for that. Even when you order something online, if you order it on Amazon, sometimes it comes the same day or the next day. But if we order something from a retailer that's outside of Amazon and it takes a week, we get impatient because we're not used to waiting anymore for anything. But wanting immediate is fine when it comes to some things in life, but expecting that in every area of your life is just not realistic. And what does that do? It makes you frustrated. And if you don't see changes immediately, you stop doing things. So let's go a little deeper here. Why do people stay stuck? There's a fear of being destabilized, right? Even if the life you're living isn't fulfilling, you might feel some sense of stability in it. So that's a little more comfortable than shaking things up a little bit. Maybe you have an attachment to the identity that you've always been, like I just talked about before. People need you in a certain role or to perform certain things in your life, and you just keep doing it because that's the person that you've always been. Just know that the person that you've always been does not have to be the same person that you will be in the future. Everything changes. So you changing is totally okay. Maybe there's a sense of overwhelm. So thinking about change requires a dramatic overhaul to your life. So you just kind of stay doing what you're doing and you don't want to make that change because it's overwhelming. Well, we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about the goals that you can set by understanding this and also knowing what you want your end game to be. There's also the possibility with some people that there's some kind of comfort in addiction. So predictability feels safer than possibility. We don't stay stuck because we're incapable. We stay stuck because we overestimate the risk of change and we underestimate the cost of staying the same. That's huge, right? I'm going to say that again. We don't stay stuck because we're not capable. We stay stuck because we overestimate the risk of change and we underestimate the cost of staying the same. So you have to think about this in micro movements, right? We don't save for retirement in a month or even a year. We save for retirement over time. And we don't build a healthy body over a month either, or even sometimes a year. We build a healthy body over time and with consistency. So some of the issue is when we don't set realistic expectations for a process. We want it fast and we want everything fast, and we don't think about the fact that there has to be a process in order for things to be successful. And if you think about that in regards to your work, there's processes for everything. Businesses run on process, but yet we don't seem to take that into consideration with our personal lives. So let's think about it this way. Stop trying to change your life and start by changing your day. It's all about one day at a time. I'm going to lay out 5 small daily shifts that you can make in order to experience change in your life in whatever area you want to experience change. If you want a different life, literally change 1 hour of your day based on whatever your goal is. So this is a very important part. You have to have a goal. So what is it that you want for yourself? What is it that you want to change about your life? What has you stuck? The life you're living versus the life that you want to live. What is that? Outline the goal, like the end game for yourself. And then once you outline your goal, Spend 1 hour each day. If that's too much, spend a half an hour each day, whether it's learning something new. If you want to change something about your career and you need to learn something new in order to do that, carve out a little piece of your day to learn something new. If you want to change your health habits, if you want to move more and you're overwhelmed, can't join a gym or you don't have the money for that or the time you feel like to go there, just get up and walk. Get up and walk. Walk for 15 minutes. Walk for a half an hour. Walk for an hour is even better. But start moving your body. If you want to build something new, if you want to figure out how to change your life, sit down with a pen and paper or on your computer and write to yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to build in your life? What's your end game? Take the time to put that down on paper. And then each day, spend an hour planning, just like with work. With work, there's projects and there's assignments that you get, or there's a goal that you're trying to achieve with your job. Take this sort of mindset with your life and plan it. Another micro step that you can take is to change one conversation. Have one honest conversation with the person that you need to have that conversation with. We did a series on this right around New Year's, just like 2 months ago, around the conversations that shape our lives. And it's all about communication. Start with yourself, communicate with yourself, and then communicate with other people that need to hear what you have to say, whether it's setting a boundary or asking a question that you've been holding inside of yourself that you haven't asked because you're afraid to rock the boat or to go down that road with somebody. Don't do that to yourself. Have that conversation. Ask that bold question. Another micro step that you can take is to change one habit. I always used to tell this to my team at work and fundraising. We would look at our end game for the year. And if you look at that, it's so overwhelming, especially with fundraising. And you say your goal is, $3 million for the year. And we would be like, oh, holy shit, $3 million. How are we going to raise $3 million? And I used to say this all the time, break it down. Break down the yearly goals into monthly goals, and then the monthly goals into weekly goals, and then your weekly goals into what are you going to do each day that week to check the boxes off for the week. It is all about baby steps and designing your life and taking steps towards the life that you want to live is the same thing. It's all about baby steps. So if you want to be healthier, go for a walk after dinner, add 30 grams of protein to your breakfast, go to bed 30 minutes earlier. These are easy things, you guys. If you want to change your career, send one email to do that, or research a certification that you need, or schedule a call with your boss to have a conversation about development or about opportunities where you work. You have to take one step. And another micro step that you can take is to change one environmental cue. And I've always said that this is so true. We become our environment. You have to think about that. What is your environment that you are living in? And what little things can you do to make changes to your environment that help you get sort of like focused on the life that you want to live, whether it's removing friction or if your goals are around health and wellness, it's what is your environment? Are you, do you have an obstacle between getting to your gym clothes or your sneakers in the morning to change? Lay those out the night before. That's a little friction that you can change to eliminate that barrier. If you want to cut back on drinking, do you have wine in your house? Do you have alcohol in your house? Get rid of it. Take it out of the house, because when it's not there, you're less likely to consume it. And also same thing with foods. If you want to get healthier, take everything out of your pantry and your refrigerator and put back only the things that you should be consuming. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow, and before you go to bed every night, instead of scrolling on social media, pick up that book, read those pages. That's also going to help you get better sleep too, because you're not going to be exposed to blue light right before bed. A big micro step is changing the language, the voice inside your head, the voice that you say to yourself and other people. So stop saying things that are limiting your potential. Stop saying someday, or when things calm down, or I can't do it. Start saying things like, I'm becoming, or I'm practicing, or I'm building, or I've always said this. If you've heard my other episodes, you know I always say add yet to the end of every sentence, because it totally changes the outcome of that sentence and shifts your mindset a little bit. So instead of saying, I can't do that, or I'm not good at that, say, I'm not good at that yet, or I can't do that yet. Open the door for yourself. Don't limit the possibilities. I think it's also important to understand the emotional reality of that in-between feeling, of being in between the life that you're living and the life that you want to live. What you have to do is be honest here. In-between stage is so awkward. And you'll probably feel, like you're a beginner, or you don't know what to do. And remember the fact that at some point in everybody's life, we were all beginners. We were not born knowing how to do this and that. Think about when you learned how to drive a car. You were a beginner. You were probably terrified like I was, but you learned because it was baby steps to getting your driver's license. It did not happen overnight. You were a beginner and you got there. So that's the reality of the in-between stage too. And if you're not sure what to do, just remind yourself that you're a beginner, but that you're going to get there. You don't have to feel like an imposter. You don't have to feel like you're being inconsistent. As long as you're taking the steps each day to get to what your end goal is, you will get there. You're not a failure. You're in transition. I go back to that because that's all about how you're talking to yourself and what you think, right? So you're not a failure. You're not stuck. You're in transition. So just remember that. And I just want to share this from my perspective. I have wanted to change a lot of things about my life over the last couple of years, and I've been taking baby steps to get there. I've had dreams and goals that I've wanted to fulfill, and I just break things down, and I'm in no way perfect. There's a lot of things about my life that are on my list to change, and I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm absolutely taking steps each day to get there. This is in, regards to my health, in regards to even starting this podcast, and in my career. I've always worked in nonprofit, but I did a couple of years in a corporate job where I worked in human capital and HR. That is not my shtick, you guys. I was miserable. I did not like that job. I was kind of talked into doing this job, and I look back on things like that like it was a great experience, and I definitely learned things that were really beneficial to my life now. But I did leave that job and I did go back to nonprofit because that's where my heart was. But I look at things like that, those little things in life that come up, and we know that they're not really for us and it's not the place we want to be. But when you're in that point, think about, what can I take from this that will serve me in some way in my life? And that's what I think about when I think of those 2 years when I was in that job that I could not stand. And it was like disrupting so many other things in my life because the stress was unbearable. I had back pain. I wasn't sleeping. I dreaded going to work every day. It was so not worth the money. And I just kept telling myself, what am I taking from this that will serve me in my life in some way? And I do. I learned a lot. I met people that I really enjoyed working with. I learned different functions of working for a company that definitely serve me in my life now. And so you have to take from it what you can take from it and realize that your path was put in front of you for a reason, and everything's a learning lesson. So it's not your forever. If you're not happy, it does not have to be your forever. Think of it that way. Even tell yourself that this is not my forever. This is meant to be a learning experience. What am I going to take from this to live the life that I want to live? But take daily steps to get to that life that you want to live. Figure out what your end game is. What do you want to achieve in your life? And start doing little things every day to get there. If you feel caught in between two lives right now, that's a good thing because it means you've outgrown something. Don't blow up your life. Just change one thing tomorrow and then choose one small action that you're going to do every day, and let that be the bridge between who you are today and who you are becoming. Always remember that you don't need permission to grow. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to know what you want and what your goal is, and take one step each day to get there. Because the life you want, it's not waiting for courage. It's just waiting for consistency. You can do it. So thank you so much for listening today. We are building the life we want in the second half, one small, intentional step at a time. And I'm so glad that you were here with me today. If you thought of somebody who might need to hear this message, please share this podcast with them. And if you haven't already, please hit follow so that our weekly podcast can drop into your podcast library. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.
Thanks for listening today. If this episode sparked something in you, please share it with a friend, leave a comment or a review, and reach out and let me know what resonated. Remember, no matter what age or stage of life you're in, you can pivot. And always remember, the second half of life is not a winding down. It's a waking up. Please follow or subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our podcast family. Let's keep showing up and being the best version of ourselves. Until next time, take care.